Well, Aries, diversity, but we've got all Aries. And when we divide this up into the Pentans, which I've just divided up here, the Aries. So Aries with the extra Aries in it, Aries with a Mars ruler, with a Mars, it's Mars, right? The rulership. So this is Elvis Stoico, the figure skating world champion. He conquered. Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, she conquered in her own way. She's sexy, she's strong, don't mess with her. She had that feisty spirit. I'm Gloria Steinem, the feminist. Certainly, I'm me, don't mess with me. This is how this, so you can see the Aries fighting, and the fighting spirit in that, and the courage and the adventure in that. As soon as you get to the Aries with the Taurus Pentan, we got Diana Ross, Sarah Vaughan, the jazz singer, and Vincent van Gogh, the artist. You have the Venus element of Taurus coming in on top of it. I got to do something. I'm going to sing. I'm going to paint. And you have the Venusian element of Taurus coming into the Aries, which you wouldn't normally peg like that. Like, this is just like a beautiful extra insight in how this works. So then when you take the Aries Gemini, you get Hans Christian Andersen, the fairy tale writer, Marlon Brando, and Irving Washington. You have people with a mental and mercurial twist to it. When it goes to Cancer, Aries Cancer, you got Richard Alpert, Baba Ramdas, Harry Houdini, and Hugh Hefner. They're all ruled with the Cancer moon. Well, Alpert, just Baba Ramdas, and he had a special following and things, but Harry Houdini was more specific. It's interesting. He did all his magic and stuff, but one of his magical things was he would stand on the stage and let anybody, no matter how strong, come up and punch him as hard as they could in the stomach, and he wouldn't be knocked over. He wouldn't be out of breath or anything. He could take the hit. But Houdini died when somebody knocked on his door and suddenly just punched him in the stomach without expecting it, and it killed him. So he died with the punch to the stomach. So it's a funny twist on the Aries Cancer, the Aries moon, they're running into the stomach. Okay, Hugh Hefner, that's even funnier. He sets up, here's the Aries with the Cancer moon, the Aries with the breast fetish, and he sets up Playboy magazine and has all the nudes and all the big breasted women hanging around his place. That was like, he kind of lived in that. So those three kind of are fairly dramatic. Then you get to the Leo, Aries Leo, Catherine Mansfield, short story writer, Thomas Jefferson, and Gary Kasparov, the winners. He's got to be the winner. One is the president, one's the chess master, the other has the short stories, the writer. And the Virgos, Margot Adler, the Wicca priestess, the Aries Virgo, the inventor of the airplane. Not only could he fly, he designed it and built it. Charlie Chaplin, the silent movie, but he had his Aries slapstick, but it had a Virgo element to it too. So this is just, I'm going to go through each of the signs like this, just so we get to see it and relate to it. So this is just showing these two signs again with the color factor on it. And yeah, so this is maybe a little tedious, but I want to go through each of them to just show you the groupings and how this is embellished. So you can, the more you know these people, they're not the youngest people today. Like, these are all last century people, you know, so but they're all well known. If you haven't heard of them, it's worth knowing something about them anyways. Okay, so we took a bunch of Tauruses. Charlie Mingus, the jazz bass composer, Roy Orbison, Barbara Streisand, Coretta Scott King, wife of Martin Luther King, Samuel Morse, Michelle Pfeiffer, the actress, Teilhard de Chardin, Bing Crosby, Maximilien Robespierre, Johann Brahms, the composer, Robert Edmund Peary. He was the first guy to hit explore at the North Pole, first American explorer at the North Pole. Salvador Dali, Shakespeare, George Lucas, Liberace, pianist, James Stewart, the actor, and Cher, the singer. So this is a bunch of Tauruses, okay? I'll have that Venusian quality. But here, when you put the Tauruses into the subsigns, the first 5 degrees is a Libra pentan. Here we have Charlie Mingus, the bass the composer, musician that just permeates jazz. Just got in the Venusian, the Libra, beautiful. And then you have Roy Orbison, You have the songbirds, the Venus with the Venus rulership of the Libra, the Venus, our Taurus Libra quality, and Barbara Streisand. It's beautiful. They all had this beautiful element to them. You know? And then when we go to Scorpio, Taurus Scorpio, we have Coretta Scott's King, wife of Martin Luther King, her husband died. There's the Taurus Scorpio. Samuel Morse, or died, murdered, but Samuel Morse, the inventor of the secret Morse code, .. Taurus Scorpio, practical, secret. And then Michelle Pfeiffer, Taurus Scorpio, you had the Catwoman, and you had the kind of sexy, the Taurus and the Scorpio side between those. So these are just my loose associations. This can go deeper than that. I'm just going off the top to talk about these, just link it in to show you how this works. The Taurus to the Sag, okay, so you have the Venus to the Jupiter, the Taurus to the Sag. You have Benjamin Spock. So the pediatrician, but he wrote the books advising everyone on the best way that he understands of how to bring up your kids. So my generation, we're all brought up by, all the hippies were brought up by Benjamin Spock books. Other people too, but it was just, that was the Jupiter side, the Sag side to the Taurus. Teilhard de Chardin, the philosopher, again, a Jupiter side to the Taurus. And Bing Crosby, the singer, entertainer, did a lot of movies, but he had a very Jupiterian, jovial, adventurous side to his premise, and a lot of different adventures and stories to his life. So that's the Taurus Sag. When we get to the Taurus Capricorn, Earth, we have Robespierre, the militant, the French revolutionary leader. We have Johann Brahms, the formal composer. And we have the Edward Peary, who went to the first American to the North Pole. So each one, the formal elegance of listening of the composer, the classical composer of Brahms, there's the Taurus Capricorn. Robespierre was the political thing. If I don't get my way, you die. Like, it had a much more physical side. The Taurus Capricorn of Peary, the Capricorn, the coldness of Capricorn, he had this thing that drove him to go to the North Pole. Okay, at a time where there weren't conveniences to get there. So then we get to Taurus and Aquarius. We have Salvador Dali, William Shakespeare, and George Lucas. So we have dramatics with a twist. We have the Aquarian, the Taurus with special ideas coming through this. When you get to the Taurus Pisces, we have Liberace, James Stewart, and Cher. So you have the singer, the actress, and Liberace was the musician, but he was a very dramatic gay musician. He was one that really stood out in the early days before anyone would dare to do that. But they still had this Piscean element to it. Okay, so we're just touching on these, but just to show that it's there. You can get bigger lists, different people, different things. So now we're going to see Gemini. Again, this is just the same words on the bottom. It shows the cycle for Gemini in Cancer, how it repeats itself around that. And again, we have the 5 degrees: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and Gemini. And then Cancer has Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. So it's almost like relationship charts. You're sort of saying, what's a Gemini with an Aries going to do? What's a Gemini with Taurus? What's a Gemini with Gemini? What's a Gemini with Cancer? You start having to work these two things together to see that they work with each other. And that's a relationship going on within someone. So, okay. We took a bunch of Geminis. I can't say a herd, a group. Yeah, group is probably a better word. Okay. Sally Ride, the first woman in space, Vincent Price, Henry Kissinger, Stevie Nicks, Albert Dürer, Walt Whitman, Allen Ginsberg, two poets, Marquis de Sade, Roberta Close, first person changed from a man to woman, David Scott, Moonwalk, Prince Philip, Jacques Cousteau, George Bush, Donald Trump. So you got Henry Kissinger, George Bush, Donald Trump, all Geminis. Steffi Graf, Alice Bailey, M.C. Escher, and Paul McCartney. So there's a whole group of Geminis. And but when you break it down to the Pentans, You end up with the Gemini Aries, you have Sally Ride up into space. You have Vincent Price pushing the horror and having the Martian element to that. And Henry Kissinger, a politician, but he was a very active political figure. Somewhat controversial, but he took a lot of independent initiatives. When you get to the Taurus, you have the Venus element. You got Stevie Nicks, the singer-songwriter, Albert Dürer, the draftsman, painter, jolly great paintings, and Walt Whitman, the poet. They add this element of beauty to the Gemini, to the ideas. Oh, that's incredible. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, wow. I'll sing that. When we get to the Gemini, we have Allen Ginsberg, the beatnik poet. He wrote his own songs. He wrote his own poems with following necessarily grammatical perfection. He would just write it with the words. And but he was special. He just followed his ideas and went through. Then we have Marquis de Sade, followed his ideas in a whole other way. And Roberta Close, the sex change from the man to woman. I think I'm going to change that. Why not? Like the change, you see the strong mental idea. Why not live up to the idea? Why not push the idea? Why not go for it? So you see the Gemini quality there. When you get to Gemini Cancer, you have the moon element. So when the moonwalk, I thought it's interesting, the Gemini with the moonwalk, he's the Gemini actually walked on the moon, worked his life, built up, got on the moon, walked on the moon. You have the Cancer element sitting in there. Prince Philip, the homeland, the Cancer, he's the husband of the Queen. So he's more the subdued person, but he had that Cancer quality to his Gemini, a quietness. Jacques Cousteau, the oceanographer, his ideas went down into the water, into the ocean, into the fish, into what's in the ocean and things of this sort. So you see the water signs. So, I mean, these could probably work a lot longer, but I just putting out basic associations so you could see them. The Gemini to the Leo, George Bush, Donald Trump, Steffi Graf. Got to be the best. I know what I'm doing. I'm the best. I'm it. Ta-da. The Leo. My way or the highway. Two of them got to be president. And Steffi Graf, the tennis champ. The coordination, having to win, just was there. When it gets to the Gemini Virgo, you're back to the critical thinking. You have Alice Bailey, the theosophist, M.C. Escher, who's the graphic artist who did all those weird designs, and Woodblocks, and Paul McCartney, his own ideas and his own writing and his own thinking. So, like, just generally, this is going along with this. So yeah, we're just going to go through. I'm going to stop apologizing, but this is